What if death isn't the end, but the beginning of something we've simply forgotten how to see? When someone takes their final breath, everything around them often becomes very still. It could happen in a hospital room filled with quiet machines and soft beeping that slowly fades into silence, or in the quiet corner of a home where loved ones sit holding back tears. Sometimes they are surrounded by family, hands gently holding theirs. Other times they are completely alone. The body stops moving. The heart gives its last beat. The chest rises and falls one final time. That breath, which came and went every day unnoticed, quietly leaves and doesn't return. To those standing nearby, this seems like the end. But what if it's not? What if, in that very moment, something deeply powerful is still unfolding, not with noise or movement, but with a quiet mystery that the eyes can't see? Inside the body, the soul, the part of us that thinks, feels, remembers, hopes, and loves, begins to gently step away. It doesn't rush. It doesn't yank itself out like a light turning off. Instead, it slowly loosens itself from all the things it was wrapped up in. Memories, habits, relationships, regrets, joys, pain. It's like untying a tight knot made of an entire lifetime. This moment is not loud or dramatic. It's soft, sacred, and almost invisible. But it's real. People who have come close to death, but returned often speak of this moment. They describe a sudden lightness, like a weight being lifted. Many say they felt peace that cannot be explained, a calm that wrapped around them like a blanket. Some describe floating, looking down at their own body. They could hear voices, see the room, feel the emotions of everyone there, but they couldn't touch or speak. They were still fully themselves, thinking, observing, but no longer inside their body. Spiritual traditions from around the world talk about something called the silver cord, a kind of energy thread that keeps the soul connected to the body during life. When death comes, this cord becomes thinner and thinner until it gently snaps. That's when the separation is complete. The body no longer responds, but the soul continues, fully alive, fully aware, just no longer attached to flesh and bone. But this isn't always an easy or peaceful process. If someone dies suddenly, in an accident or with no time to prepare, or if they were deeply attached to their physical life, their money, their family, or even their pain, they might not understand what's happening. Some souls try to speak, to touch, to cry, but no one hears them. Imagine waking up from a dream where you thought everything was normal, only to find that nothing is the same. That's how it feels for many souls in the moments right after death. They are awake, alert, feeling everything, but unable to interact with the world. Emotionally, this can be overwhelming. Imagine spending a whole life believing that death is a final ending, and then finding yourself still here, still thinking, still seeing your loved ones cry, but unable to comfort them. You want to hug them, say something, hold their hand, but you can't. For some souls, this is terrifying. For others, it is confusing. For some, it is peaceful. It all depends on what kind of life they lived and what they believed about death. For those who were spiritually prepared, who spent time reflecting, loving deeply, forgiving often, the experience is usually gentle. They understand that this is not the end. They feel the presence of unseen companions, guides, loved ones who passed before, beings of light, gently surrounding them. There is no fear. There is no panic. Only a sense of being carried, of being welcomed into something bigger than anything they've ever known. The soul doesn't leave empty. It takes everything with it. Every moment of kindness, every lesson, every tear, every bit of laughter. It steps away from the body, but carries the entire life lived inside of it like a glowing heart. Death, it turns out, is not disappearance. It's a doorway. The soul often feels like it has woken up in a strange dream. The world looks the same, but the feeling is different. The colors are softer or brighter. Sounds seem to echo both near and far. The people they love walk right past them, unaware. The soul tries to talk, to touch, to cry out, but nothing works. It is present, but invisible, fully alive, but no longer part of the world in the same way. Some souls stay near the earth for a long time, especially when the death was sudden or unexpected. They may go home, sit beside their family, try to continue their routine, but the door won't open. The chair doesn't hold them. The phone won't ring. The world has moved on, and they are still here, watching, waiting, wondering. Spiritual teachings explain that this time, the space right after death, is extremely delicate. If a soul is still attached to its old life, or caught in pain, guilt, or regret, it can get stuck close to earth. It feels everything, the emotions, the longing, the confusion, but cannot act. It's like being surrounded by fog, waiting for someone to show you the way. What helps the soul most in this time is the kind of life it lived. If it loved deeply, if it forgave others, if it walked with kindness or believed in something greater, the soul rises more quickly. It is surrounded by light. Guides come. Gentle hands reach out to help. But even if the soul wasn't ready, if it was confused or afraid, it is never truly alone. It may take longer, but help always arrives. No soul is ever forgotten. Sometimes in the last days before death, people begin to see things others can't. They speak to people who have already passed. They smile at things no one else can see. These are not always just dreams or confusion. Spiritually, they may be the first steps across the veil, the soul beginning to feel the call from the other side. After the body dies, the soul often stays close. It watches everything. It sees the family gathering. It hears the weeping. It watches as the room is cleaned, as the doctors leave, as the funeral is prepared. It sees people hugging, whispering, crying, and it feels all of it. It understands the grief, the love, the emptiness left behind. But it cannot hold anyone. It cannot say goodbye in the way it once could. This realization is hard. The world moves forward without them, and the soul watches, heart full, but hands empty. Time feels different now. The clocks still tick for the living, but for the soul, time begins to stretch, bend, soften. Many spiritual traditions say the first 7 days after death are sacred. During this time, the soul stays very close to earth. It may stay near the place where it died. It may sit beside the people it loves. listening to conversations, watching tears fall. It follows the car that carries its body. It lingers at the funeral. It watches people arrive with flowers, hears the prayers being whispered, notices the pictures placed near the casket. The funeral becomes more than a ritual. For the living, it's a way to mourn. For the soul, it's a moment of truth. It sees how it is remembered. It feels the impact of its life. It notices every hug, every memory, every broken voice saying goodbye. And slowly, it begins to accept. It begins to understand. Life has moved forward. The body is no longer needed. It is time to let go. But the soul still feels the emotions of the people it left behind. If they are screaming in despair, refusing to say goodbye, holding on too tightly, those emotions cling to the soul like vines. Words like "don't leave me" or "I can't go on without you" can hold the soul down, making it harder to rise. But peaceful prayers, loving memories, and whispered words like "I love you," "thank you," "I'll be okay" are like gentle winds lifting it upward. Emotions become energy, and energy shapes the soul's path forward. That's why so many cultures gather on the seventh day to honor the one who passed. Spiritually, it's a turning point. If the soul has felt supported, if it has accepted what's happened, something opens. A tunnel of light, a glowing gate, a misty bridge, whatever name we give it, something new appears, and the soul is invited to move forward. Some go quickly, others linger, but the 7 days form a sacred pause, a doorway between the world they knew and the world they are entering. For those still living, knowing this brings peace. It means your love still matters. Your words still reach them. Your prayers still carry weight. And for those thinking of their own passing one day, it reminds you to live without regrets, to love deeply, to forgive easily, to leave nothing unfinished. But the journey does not end there. After those 7 days comes another important chapter, the 40 days of goodbye. During these days, the soul begins to release all the threads still tying it to earth. It begins to remember, to reflect, to feel everything again, but now from a new place of understanding. It reviews its life not with fear, but with clarity. It sees where it loved and where it could have loved more. It feels the joy it gave others, and also the pain. It sees its actions through the eyes of those it touched. This is not punishment. There is no judgment, no courtroom, no list of sins, only truth. And from that truth comes healing. Gentle spiritual guides stay close, helping the soul understand, helping it let go. Slowly, the soul releases its attachments, not forgetting, but freeing. It no longer clings to titles, objects, fears, or even names. It remembers the people it loved, but now with a pure kind of love that doesn't grasp or pull. A love that blesses and lets go. Sometimes the people left behind feel the soul in dreams. Vivid, emotional, unforgettable dreams. These are not just dreams. These are visits. The soul comes to say goodbye, to give peace, to receive permission to move on. And when that permission is felt, when the living release the soul with love, something sacred happens. At the end of the 40 days, the final threads dissolve. The soul is free. free to continue its journey in the spiritual world. It carries everything it lived, everything it became, and all the love it ever gave or received. Death, it turns out, was never the end. It was a passage, a return, a rising, and the soul is not gone. It is just somewhere new, and somehow still near. When a soul finishes its time on earth, it begins to feel lighter, freer, and more aware. It gently says goodbye to the physical world, but it doesn't leave behind the love it shared, the lessons it learned, or the truth of who it really is. It carries with it the deep connections it made, the memories that mattered, and the essence of its journey. Love doesn't disappear with the body. Real love continues beyond space and time. Even after death, that connection remains alive. The people left behind may feel this shift, sometimes as a sudden calm in the heart, a meaningful song playing at just the right time, a scent, a breeze, or a butterfly landing unexpectedly. These are quiet signs that the soul is beginning a new chapter. Many don't know that after someone dies, their connection with loved ones doesn't break. It stays active, especially in the first few months. The emotions of those who are still living reach the soul like waves of energy. If we can sense someone's feelings while they're alive, imagine how much stronger that is when the soul is free of the body. In the spiritual world, emotions are felt directly, deeply, and without barriers. This is why grief has such a powerful effect. Missing someone, crying for them, feeling pain, these are natural. But sometimes, that pain turns into attachment, and instead of letting go with love, the person left behind clings to sorrow. Words like, "Why did you leave me?" or "Come back" carry such strong emotions that they can tie the soul down. Out of love, the soul may stay close, trying to comfort the person, trying to help. But staying near in this way can create confusion and delay its own growth. Some souls remain around their loved ones for months or even years, feeling responsible for their healing. They don't leave because they're needed or because they feel they must help, but this often leads to more suffering. The soul cannot rise, and the living cannot heal. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering with peace, not pain. True love never ends. It only transforms. After a time of rest and reflection, the soul reaches a moment where it feels called to move forward. This isn't a physical door, but a spiritual one. Some souls are guided by kind, loving spirits. Others feel a natural pull from within. But not all souls move on easily. Some are held back by heavy emotions like guilt, fear, or regret. The place a soul goes after death is not fixed. It depends on its inner state. Souls that lived with kindness and a desire to grow are drawn to brighter, more peaceful realms. These places are described in spiritual writings as cities filled with gardens, healing spaces, and schools where souls rest, recover, and keep learning. Souls in these places are welcomed gently and help to understand the meaning of their life and journey. There are many levels in the spiritual world. Lighter, peaceful ones where time flows differently and thought shapes reality, and also lower, darker levels filled with sadness and confusion. These are not punishments, but reflections of what the soul is still carrying. Some souls pass through a transition space first, a kind of waiting area where they are guided, watched over, and helped. They may meet loved ones who passed before or spirit guides who were with them all along. Here, the soul prepares for the next step. The soul doesn't simply choose where to go. It moves where its energy leads. Souls who were spiritually aware during life feel more clarity and peace during this transition. Once they arrive at their next place, the focus becomes healing. Death doesn't erase emotional pain. Some souls still carry regrets, sadness, or confusion, so they rest. Some sleep deeply, recovering in silence. Others receive loving energy treatments or spend time in quiet reflection. They're gently shown the impact of their choices and feelings. They begin to understand life with more clarity. Learning follows healing. In the spiritual world, learning isn't cold or distant. It happens through experience, sharing, and quiet understanding. Souls reflect on who they were and begin to see who they truly are, beyond name, body, or identity. They remember that they are pure spirit, full of light and growth. As the soul grows stronger, it may choose to stay and help others. Some guide souls who are crossing over. Some become protectors of the living, inspiring and comforting those they love. Others decide to return to Earth in a new life, not randomly, but through careful planning with spiritual guides. Every detail is chosen with care. The family, the lessons, the challenges, the people they will meet and love again. Souls also visit Earth without reincarnating. These visits are spiritual, not physical. The soul may return to comfort, to say goodbye again, or to be near someone who needs them. Sometimes they appear in dreams that feel real, because they are. These are meetings of soul and spirit while the body sleeps. People often wake up feeling lighter, as if something deep has been healed. Other visits come in quiet signs, a sudden scent, a meaningful song, a breeze, or a strong inner feeling. Occasionally, for those who are very sensitive, the soul may even be seen or heard. Sometimes the soul protects us without us even knowing. It helps us make better choices, avoid harm, or feel peace in a hard moment. These are not coincidences. They are acts of love. To feel these visits more deeply, we must open our hearts, be at peace with the cycle of life and death, and release attachment. Speak to the person with love. Pray sincerely. Remember them with kindness, not sorrow. The soul will come when the time is right, not when we demand it. Letting go with love builds the strongest bridge. Losing someone changes the way we see everything. We begin to feel life more deeply. We realize that the most important things can't be touched. They are felt in the heart. Our energy, our love, our choices. They don't just affect us. They reach across to those we've loved and lost. What we send out in love, they feel. And what they send back, we receive. There are sacred moments in the year after someone passes that many traditions recognize. The seventh day is seen as the first big spiritual release. The 40th day is the full detachment from the physical world, and the 1-year anniversary is a closing of the circle. By then, most souls have settled into their new phase, continuing their growth or preparing for another life. For the living, that day doesn't have to be filled only with grief. It can be a moment to celebrate love, to thank them, and to smile, because their story is not over, and neither is yours. Everything that happens is part of something bigger, something deeper, something eternal.